What's up, dude? Let me start by saying I absolutely love Indian food and I plan on doing more of it on this channel. And if you're anything like me, you also love Indian food, so a great place to start is with butter chicken. It is one of the most popular Indian curries in the world, and today I'm gonna show you how to whip one up with some garlic naan to dip it in. You gotta have that if you ask me. And as always, my friends, there is no time to waste. Now let's go! Today I'm using chicken breast for this butter chicken. If you want to use thighs, you can go ahead. Those will be just as good. I just happen to like breasts better for this curry. I'll start by trimming a little bit of fat off this breast if necessary, and I'll remove these little tenders right here as well. And then I want to slice them into nice big cubes. I don't want a little skimpy piece of chicken in my curry, so something like this. So you get a good chunk of chicken every time you take a bite. And with the tenders, same deal, just cut them into big cubes. I'll also remove that little tendon that's in the tender. Our chicken is gonna get 2 marinades. The first is lemon juice, this beautiful Kashmiri chili powder that I love so much, and some good old-fashioned salt. I'll just give this all a good mix. We'll just let these ingredients work their magic for about 20 minutes first. For the second marinade, we're gonna be using some Greek yogurt, a little bit of neutral oil, that's just avocado oil, ground fenugreek, turmeric, as well as some ginger and garlic that I just ground into a fine paste with my handy dandy little thing. I don't know what it is, but it's awesome. And garam masala. All your spices for the second marinade now going in, getting colorful here. Yum, yum, yum. The oil and the yogurt. And just mix it all up again, making sure to distribute those spices. Oh, I can't tell you how good this already smells, my friends. When raw chicken makes you hungry, you know it's gonna be good. At this point, the ginger and the garlic is also going in. Give that a mix in. Let the garlic and ginger enter the chat. And now you hurry up and wait. We marinate for a couple hours at least. And if you have the foresight and the godlike patience, do it the day before. A full 24-hour marinade would be awesome. Overnight for 12 hours would be second best. But if you wanna just do it for an hour or two, it's still gonna be amazing, all right? Now, if you ask me, you can't have a great butter chicken without some incredible fluffy garlic naan. If you want to make rice with this, go ahead. I'll put a video up in the corner right now for that. However, dipping that garlic naan into the curry is a beautiful experience and I recommend it to everyone. Recipe will be in the description, but we're starting with lukewarm water, active dry yeast, little pinch of sugar so that yeast has a snack. Now we'll give that a little mix and let it sit for about 10 minutes. Now we add 1 egg, some oil, this is just avocado oil, but you could use another kind of oil, and some yogurt. Mix that all together, just add some salt to your all-purpose flour, and give it a good mix. Then I'll just take a pile of my flour and make a little well here in the center like so. I'll pour my wet ingredients into that little well I just made. This is scary stuff. If there's a breach, we're screwed. And what I'm doing now is just pulling in flour from this little well into the mix. Ooh. I need to make my well a little bigger. All good. And we'll just keep working that in, and you'll see your little well begin to thicken up. You can also do this in a bowl. I just like doing this. I think it's kind of fun. Oh, there's a breach. In the end, it always works out. If you have a KitchenAid or a stand mixer, you could also just use that. You can see now it's really starting to thicken up. I'm just tossing in a lot more of the flour now. I'll now switch to this little dough scraper, start pulling in a lot more of that flour, and eventually this will turn into a kneading process. At this point, I'm gonna start really pushing the dough together and just scraping as I go. And you wanna just knead this now. And here we go, our dough has really come together. I'm just kneading it out a little bit so it's nice and smooth, slightly sticky to the touch, but not really sticking to your hands very much at all. And there we go, my friend, just about 5 minutes of kneading. And I'm just gonna create a little tension on the top by pulling from the top down to the bottom like so. And we make a nice little ball like this. And into a bowl it goes. To prove, cover it with a hot, damp kitchen towel for 40 minutes to 1 hour, depending on how hot your kitchen is. We just leave this out at room temp to rise. Our naan has been proving for about an hour now, and I'm just gonna drop it out onto a lightly floured work surface so it doesn't stick. Now I'm just gonna roll it out into a rough little log. You can make these naan as big or as small as you like. I'll do about 10 out of here, portion them out. If some are a little bigger or a little smaller, it's all good. In fact, I think I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's cool, they'll be big. Looks like a nice little pillow, doesn't it? And all we need to do now is roll it out to somewhere around 1/4 of an inch thick. That looks good to me. Nice irregular shape as naan should be. And it's ready for the pan. Before we cook the naan, we need to make the garlic butter for it. So into a little pot over medium heat, I'm just adding unsalted butter. When the butter is melted, we're gonna add some slices of garlic and a nice big pinch of salt. Just about 3 minutes with the butter, and you turn that off and just let it chill. We are gonna add some herbs to this in a minute, but not till we cook the naan. I've just brought a really lightly oiled pan up to high heat. Drop in your naan. After just 30 seconds, we're gonna flip. They cook really fast, and you can see it starting to bubble up now, which is cool. There we go, another 30 seconds, and it's totally done. At this point, I'm adding my cilantro to the garlic butter last minute. If you don't like cilantro, if it tastes like soap to you, try parsley or another another herb of your choice. That will be fine. And we just brush with our garlic butter, and I'll cook all the naan and then just layer them up like this, one on top of the other. And happy days, my friends. When your chicken is done marinating, it's time to, well, cook it, right? You could do this in a pan, but I'm gonna do it under the broiler to get a little bit of that fiery taste. I'm putting it on a sheet pan lined with tin foil. I'll just spread this out nicely so we don't have any large clumps of chicken that's steam and not brown. Something just a little like this is perfect. I cannot tell you how freaking good this chicken smells. I can't wait until it's cooked. My broiler is set to high heat. I'm gonna jam this chicken under there and we're gonna keep a careful eye on it. What we don't wanna do here is overcook the chicken. It needs to finish in the sauce. And away it goes. All right, there we go, just about 5 minutes under the broiler. And what I wanted was these little charring bits, which I got right here. I wish there was a little bit more of that, but my broiler isn't that powerful, but this is fine. For the tomatoes, I chose these little sugar bomb tomatoes. Why did I do this? Because these are the best tomatoes I can find in November in America. If this was the summer season, I would be using a different kind of tomato. These are just really sweet, and so they're gonna make for a really, really great sauce. However, if you can't find these, just use another kind of tomato. It will work just fine. Oh! And what we're gonna do is make a little tomato puree out of these tomatoes. So I'm just throwing them all into a blender, whack on the lid and blend it up. Simple as that. Can be a little bit chunky. I just did that for about 10 seconds. Time to build this curry sauce. I'm turning a pan onto low to medium heat, and we're throwing in a stick of cinnamon, a chili that I just cut a little slit into it so it will release its heat, a few cardamom pods, and a couple little pieces of clove. Now I know what you're thinking. A lot of you don't have these spices. You can just skip this step and go to the next one if you don't have these, but we're trying to be pretty authentic with this butter chicken, so we're starting with this. These have been toasting now for about 4 or 5 minutes. At this point, we're adding our butter. That's just unsalted butter, and we'll continue toasting these spices off in that butter. The spices have been in the butter for about 2 minutes now. I'm gonna remove them. Those spices are just meant to flavor the butter. Now I'm putting in more ginger and garlic, just ground up like the ones before for the chicken marinade. We'll toast this off for a minute. Once that garlic and ginger is nice and fragrant in with the tomato puree, this color is gonna change. I know it looks a little bit like a watermelon popsicle or something right now, but as this cooks, it will deepen in flavor and color. I'm turning up the heat now just to a little over medium, and we'll let this cook down. Butter chicken gets really creamy, not just from the butter and the cream, but from the cashews. It should have cashews. At this point, I'm gonna season it up a little bit, just adding about a teaspoon of salt at this point. We can add more later if we need to. A little bit more Kashmiri chili powder, tiny little bit of sugar, just a teaspoon. Wow. And the color is starting to get really incredible, partly due to the tomatoes cooking and partly due to that chili powder I just put in. Wowza, wowza. I'm also just dumping in the juice that came out of the chicken because that's just flavor and it might as well be in your curry. You may notice I didn't put onions in this butter chicken, and that was on purpose. Authentic butter chicken doesn't have any onions in it. You'll see a lot of people putting onions in it, and you certainly can if you want, but you don't need to. A curry like chicken tikka masala is meant to have onions in it, but butter chicken, no. Here it is after about 12-15 minutes, and as you can see, the color is absolutely incredible. What we're doing is almost turning this into like a loose tomato puree. As it's cooking down, the flavors are really deepening. Here we are after 20 minutes of reducing this down, and as you can see, this tomato juice is turning into a paste, which is what we want, and these flavors are really starting to get enriched. Smells pretty darn good in this house right now, I'll tell you that much. Here we are, 25 minutes later, and you can listen to this sound. It's gone from an evaporation sound to a sizzling sound. So all the water is removed from the tomato, and what's left over is the tomato sizzling in the butter with the spices and the cashew. Now we're starting to get some real crazy flavor. Another 3 minutes of toasting and we have like this tomato puree. You can see this now, right? At this point, we add water back in. We'll go ahead and bring this back to a simmer. Back into the blender we go, and we blend on high for 1 minute. You don't have to do this next step, but for an extra velvety smooth sauce, I'm gonna pass it through a chinois strainer. And I'm just pushing it through now with a spoon. Make sure we get that all out. Don't wanna waste a single drop, although that's impossible. Just be thorough. We are almost done, my friends. Little more garam masala. Fenugreek, these are toasted fenugreek seeds. If you can find the leaves, that would be best. Now, a little bit more butter coming in at the end. Just cold unsalted butter for that extra creamy touch. And of course, a little bit of cream. Fill it all out and finish it all off. The last thing we need to do is put in all of our chicken, which is gonna add a ton more flavor as well. Get in there, you. And I've got the heat just low right now. I wanna be gentle with this chicken just to warm it up in the sauce. Totally cooked through, but not overcooked. The chicken has been in the sauce on low heat for 2 to 3 minutes. I'm just putting a touch more salt now to finish up the seasoning aspect. And happy days, my friends. There's your butter chicken. Let's just garnish it up and serve it with the naan. Let's serve this up in our traditional Indian bowl here. We'll finish with just a little bit of cold cream, as is per tradition. This is really more for the look than anything, if you ask minced meat, some more of those fenugreek seeds, but if you had the leaves, that would be better, and some cilantro, but if you don't like it, just leave it out. And there is your traditional butter chicken, my sweet, sweet, sweet friends. Coming in for a taste. Oh gosh, I'm hungry. This looks so good. Oh! My favorite thing to do is take some naan, make like a little tiny taco out of it, hold it up. It's got a mild to medium kind of heat to it. The chicken is absolutely tender, and when you have it inside of the garlic naan, holy f***. Give it a shot, my friends, and until next time, you know I love you in a mac.